give it a 3 and a 2 and a 1, and we're going.
Episode 2.
Episode 2. Welcome to the Ear Swap Podcast,
where we swap ears for the week.
Trade ears.
Yeah, so this is the podcast to which Chayne and I recommend each other albums we haven't heard very well or intently or have never heard before.
Or that we wouldn't seek out on our own.
Definitely. It kind of opens up our eyes to some different kinds of music and styles. So we each recommend an album each episode, and therefore we listen and we talk about it and what that album means to us.
Each album we listen to, we're going to hate it.
We're going to hate all of them.
Yeah, it's probably.
Yeah.
So my name is Chayne. I am the host that's talking right now. I don't know what I'm doing. I am not qualified to do this podcast, but that's okay because it's a podcast because it doesn't matter. But
I think you're more than qualified.
Okay. Well, I listen to music.
He does.
I didn't start getting into music until I was about high school age, teenager. That's pretty normal, I'd imagine.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was probably 13 or 14 when I bought my first record or CD.
Really?
But yeah. And the two I bought, the two like actual music that I bought, because I bought like Weird Al Yankovic CDs before that. Like, I love Weird Al.
Yeah.
But buying Weird Al as an 11-year-old does not count as your first album you purchased. But the first two I got were Under Oath and As I Lay Dying.
Oh, wow.
I immediately was into like the screamo metalcore type stuff.
You went full send.
Full send.
You went from Weird Al to screamo.
Well, I never like cared about music until I heard something that like kind of challenged what I thought music was.
Oh.
So that's definitely where I got into it, and then I started playing music through like church things. I played guitar for church and really got into like youth group core style music that was really popular in the mid 2000s. Mm-hmm. So that's my background. That's where I come from. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's an interesting background. This is great because that's a totally different background than mine. That's for sure. My name's Wakinyan. Oh, is that hot tea?
Yeah, I just burned my tongue. Sorry.
What kind of tea is it?
That is an Earl Grey.
Oh, good stuff. Yes. I should have made some tea. I'm drinking that sunscreen seltzer.
That does taste like sunscreen.
The coconut one. Yeah. Anyways, my name's Wakinyan, and I like music. I play music. I've been in bands. I've toured. I've made records. I got into music pretty young, I'd say. Like, even when I was really young, like my mom always played like Prince and Janet Jackson, and then my dad was really into like Tool and Audioslave and stuff. So like that definitely was a big influence on my like early music thing. But I never got into playing music till I discovered the Beatles, and that was like my thing. And I started playing drums. But yeah, I like to listen to a lot of stuff. My musical taste started out with a lot of like 90s era stuff, as you can imagine. I was really, really into Foo Fighters, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana, Soundgarden. A lot of that stuff was my cup of tea for a very long time, and I still listen to it, and I love it. That's like one of my favorite eras of music. But yeah, I kind of went from there, and then once I got the itch out to play heavy music, I started listening to like lighter music, softer music, Norah Jones, Joni Mitchell, singer-songwriter kind of stuff. I love Prince greatly. Chayne knows how much I love Prince.
A whole lot.
I love Prince very much. But yeah, that's kind of my background. I play music, so I listen to songwriting a lot. That's kind of my big. Every time I listen to a record, I'm like, well, that's a cool way to write a song or make a song. I always kind of look for new ways to do that. So yeah, that's my background of music.
Very cool.
And it's different.
Did you say your name? Your name's Wakinyan.
Yeah, I said it at the beginning.
I think you said it.
I said it, and then we got sidetracked with the tea and the coconut.
Yeah. New listeners that don't know us should try to guess how to spell our names.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That'd be a fun game.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's gross. All right. So the record that I suggested to Wakinyan this week was Control by Pedro the Lion.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you suggest to me?
I suggested There's Nothing Left to Lose by the Foo Fighters. And if you guys seen episode 1 and seen we recommended these albums to each other, if you've listened, you kind of know what you're getting into. If you haven't listened to either one of these yet, you can feel free to do that. I'll put some links in the description.
Stop the show right now.
Stop it right now.
Stop listening.
Or listen afterwards and then go into it with our opinions, which See how valid that is or not.
Not. I'm going to vote not.
Not at all.
But yeah, we're hoping that not only that we can find new music that we enjoy and like kind of just broaden our experience in the music world, but also that our listeners can join us on that and maybe find some stuff they like, maybe learn something about something they already do like.
Yeah. Or, maybe a record you don't like and you listen to it and you're like, oh, I see why people like this at the least. There's a lot of ways you can go with that.
That's true. That's good.
Good. Yeah. So, Control, Pedro the Lion. Let's start there.
Start with that.
Let's start with that one.
You start giving me your feedback, and then I'll tell you why I chose this one.
Okay. My feedback. I'll say, first of all, the best song on this record is Magazine.
That's probably my favorite, too. Yeah.
It's so good.
Actually, I have that written down. That's
it is
favorite.
so good. I absolutely love that song. I love this record.
Oh.
I absolutely adored this record. At first, the vocals was really weird. Mm-hmm. It was like it was such a slower pace than what I was used to with all the other stuff that I listened to that I went into it, I was like, I don't know. And then the more I listened to it, the songwriting on this album is really good. And the drumming is really good. So there were a lot of really cool drum beats. Progress was another one of my favorite ones, and Indian Summer. Those are both excellent. I like Progress because it had that like filtery beginning, and then you think it's going to be like usually your expectation when you hear those kind of intros is like, oh, it's going to be big and loud, but it was like big but small. Like soft, and it was so cool to hear some sort of like transition like that. But I really, really love this album. Okay. I thought it was I've listened to it like 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
And I definitely will like continue listening to this record. So
nice. Did you pick up on the story?
I didn't. I heard some stuff about Jesus in there.
Yes. It's not what you'd expect though.
Okay.
So, would you believe me if I told you this was a concept album? It was supposedly kind of accidentally, like he didn't want to write a concept album, but then he ended up doing it.
Right.
So this is actually an album that tells the story of a man who starts having an affair, and his wife finds out about it, and she kills him.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Oh, that's why there's like Priest and Paramedics.
Priest and Paramedics, yeah.
Rapture.
Priest and Paramedics is another one of my favorite songs.
That one's really good, too.
It's real sad.
Yeah.
But also, this album is, like, by those, by the themes and stuff in it, you'd expect it to be super sad, but it's also kind of tongue-in-cheek a lot. So it almost reminds me of, like, a Coen Brothers movie, where it's, like, horrible shit's happening, but it's also, like, kind of funny.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. A lot of the lyrics were really good. I liked a lot of how... There's good imagery, I think, on a lot of it, where it was like, oh, wow. And on a recording level, I love the drum sound on this album. It's super roomy, and it has this just like super airy, impactful way that it hits the song. And I love the guitar parts. There's a chord. What song was that? There's a couple songs that like it goes to a chord that just hits just right. And I'm like, whatever that is, that's really good. Like, because you think it's going to go there, and then it kind of goes like a half step or like goes to this minor thing. Howdy, it's Wakinyan again with this voiceover. You might have recognized this from episode 1. You know what's happening. This is another drawing cut because the camera decided to be done at 12 minutes. So let's keep watching and keep going. We'll keep doing the graphics thing like we did in episode 1. So let's keep talking about Pedro the Lion because it's great. This album's great. Listen to Control by Pedro the Lion. It's awesome. Let's get back to the podcast. Oh, it's so good.
He does a lot of unexpected things
in
the progression of the song. You expect it to be, like what most songs are, the expected structure of a song.
Right.
And then he just tweaks it, just not a lot, but just a little bit. And it just like,
yeah, there were songs that just like got my spine, and I was like, holy shit. And it was just interesting because like the parts themselves were pretty simple. But what he did within those parts, like changing up those little chords or throwing in something that's unexpected, really made it for like an overall good listen. But it's a super cohesive listen too. Like it's a piece that feels like, okay, there's a story to be told, which now you tell me there's a concept album. The way that it kind of goes through makes a lot of sense, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's anyway a mostly concept album.
Mostly,
I'd say the two songs that don't really fit into the concept are Progress and Magazine, which you can make them fit if you like really want it to be that way. But they have like similar feels to them though, so totally get that.
Good feels.
So David Bazan wrote and like pretty much did everything on this record. He did vocals, drums, guitar, bass, keyboards, and he brought in a guy named Casey Faubert, I don't know how to say his name, to do a few other things here and there. But like pretty much it was all just David Bazan. So talented dude. Yeah,
you had told me that he recorded a lot by himself. So that's cool. I like records when it's just one music. Like that's why I think I love 9 Inch Nails, because it's such a like, you're almost kind of given that ability as a solo musician, if you can play those things, to like try out weird song structures, because it's up to you and you know what you want in your head. That I think that's kind of a cool thing, and I love 9 Inch Nails for that same reason, which could also be why I love this record, is because it's something that you could tell was made by one person. Like when you told me, I was like, yeah, that makes sense, because he's doing all these things that are, you kind of can get more quirky with it, but make things poppy, but like quirky at the same time, and get away with it a little bit easier, I think. But yeah, Magazine was like, the first time I heard that song, I was like, this is the best song on the album. Hands down.
Dude,
I love that
when
song.
it hits like the bridge and the drums change, that's,
oh man, it's so good. The melody's so good on there too. I love that song. That's one of the best songs I've heard this year, for sure.
Nice.
I genuinely love this album.
Yeah.
So
that's the one that gets people into Pedro, I feel.
Really?
That song, like, I don't know. That's what got me into it, because I always like listened to him a little bit.
Yeah.
And then once I heard Magazine, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. This clicks now. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. It's a great record. Came out in 2001.
2001 or 2002, somewhere in there.
Yeah, 2002. Released 2002, recorded 2001.
Yeah.
Wow.
So with David Bazan, it's interesting. He like started off playing with like acts that got massive. Like I think he like went to high school. I don't need to double check it, but he started off playing in bands with like Damien Jurado. Which, are you familiar with Damien Jurado?
Nope.
Okay, he's the guy that did the song Sheets, but he's got a lot of other good stuff. He's a singer-songwriter
kind of thing.
Really good. You should check out, but that might be one of the things we do on here. But Damien Jurado, he used to tour with Death Cab.
Oh, really?
Like a lot. In fact, I think Ben Gibbard played in Pedro the Lion for a little bit.
Oh.
And then what I looked up, I found a really cool website, first of all, called concertarchives.org. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
It just lists by year and who bands were touring with.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really cool. And I found out David Bazan and Pedro the Lion, as Pedro the Lion, toured with Elliott Smith.
Wow, that'd be a sad concert.
Yeah, the final show
that he
Pedro
ever
the Lion was on it. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Didn't know that. But yeah, so it's this weird, at least from my perspective, obviously I don't know for sure, but I feel like Pedro the Lion was the indie band that got left behind in the scene. So like I looked up the monthly listeners for Damien Jurado. It's like 763,000. Pretty good numbers. Death Cab's 3.5 million monthly listeners.
God.
And Elliott Smith is 1.9, and he's been dead since 2003.
Yeah.
Whereas Pedro the Lion has 69,000.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow.
So they were like in the scene and just like should have
been bigger than
they are. And I think that's kind of affected his later songwriting maybe. I mean, I don't know if that's a fair thing for me to say because I haven't written anything, but and he started out as a Christian artist. You said he mentioned a lot of Jesus lyrics.
Yeah, he talked about Jesus in the Rapture song, which makes sense.
I believe up until this album, and maybe one after, I think it was probably this one, he was a Christian and considered a Christian artist.
Right.
But obviously he's singing, there's like a lyric about cum in this album too. So it was like he was too Christian for the music scene, but then too secular for the Christian music scene. Almost.
That's a weird place to be. Yeah.
It's really weird because he got big playing Cornerstone Festival. Do you know what that one is?
No.
That's like a alternative Christian music festival that was big. Like every band in the Christian music scene ever, Norma Jean, Devil Wears Prada, like anything you can think of played Cornerstone.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to go so bad, but then it stopped happening.
Yeah.
So he was big on that, and he like quit for a while and came back. But he was always writing music from a Christian, when he was a Christian, as a Christian perspective that was very critical of Christianity, but in a really thoughtful way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it made people really uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
But that's kind of what drew me to it in a lot of ways, was like the raw energy of it. So
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know you'd homie been jamming with Elliott Smith. That would played his last show.
2003. Yep.
Wow. So is so that's still an active project.
So,
what was the last record that was put out?
Pedro the Lion. It's confusing. David Bazan had Pedro the Lion, and then he started. It kind of fizzled out. He started releasing stuff as David Bazan. He also started playing. There's a band called Headphones, which was him and one of the guys from Fleet Foxes.
Wow.
T.W. Walsh, which that guy was something. I don't know. And one of the guys from Starflyer 59, which is a band that might come up on the show if you talk to. But they started like a synth pop band, and it's really interesting. And then he released more stuff as David Bazan, and now he's releasing stuff as Pedro the Lion again. But from what I understand, he was like, I shouldn't have split all that stuff up. And so it's kind of like he'll be playing as Pedro the Lion, but he'll play headphone songs and things like that. So,
okay. Interesting. Does he have any reason as to why he went just... Because if he's already making the record himself, why would he just do his name? Is it just...
I have no idea.
Rebranding?
Yeah, I think he just tried to rebrand a few times, but it ended up still just being him.
Right.
So, which that might have actually hurt, popularity in some sense. But,
yeah, that'll do it.
But yeah, I would take this album over any Death Cab album. I mean, I like Damien Jurado too, but I like Death Cab.
Yeah,
but I like this album a lot. This is one of my favorite albums.
This is a really, really excellent album. So I would give this one an A+. I thought it was an absolutely stunning album.
Do we want to start like a scoring system?
Sure.
Or do we just want to make up different values each time?
I think different values. This one's going to be simple, and I'm going to give this one an A+. A+ for excellent, perfect work.
Wonderful.
I think it's a great record. So thank you for that. It was a good listen. I haven't listened to a new album that I was like, holy shit, this is really good in a long time. So
yeah. I feel like, Pedro's just overlooked outside of, they have a really, cult following. People that like Pedro the Lion like Pedro the Lion.
Yeah.
But aside from that, very overlooked.
Yeah, and I'd heard about it. I don't know if it's just through hanging out with you, but I felt like it was always a name that I had heard of, but I never listened to it or knew what it was or anything. I feel like there's a lot of that.
Yeah, and they used to tour through this area all the time.
Really?
He played in Lawrence all the time.
Seems like a Lawrence
Death
guy.
Cab. There's
wow.
I found postings of Death Cab and Pedro the Lion playing at the Bottleneck, which is
that's
in Lawrence.
Wild.
Bottleneck's
had some
dive bar,
nuts
but
acts in the past, though.
It's a fun place for shows, though. So, and that's Lawrence, Kansas, for people listening. We live out in the middle of nowhere in Kansas, so
Wichita, baby.
Wichita, the biggest city in the most empty state.
Yep.
Yeah.
The biggest. We're not even the capital either, and half of our. Well, no, Topeka's our capital, which is the worst.
Yeah, Topeka sucks.
Topeka sucks. It stinks.
It's a stinky city.
Stinky city.
All right, so I think we're wrapped up on Control.
Dude, great record.
I'm glad you like it.
Again,
really
A+. I'm going to listen to that. I loved the songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where I really fell was the guitar chords in a lot of those songs. I was like, that's fucking awesome. And the drumming, sick drum beats on this record too. So all the instrumentation was great. The vocals, although at first we're like, it's what ended up being the thing that I loved on the album.
It takes a little bit to get used to it because he's kind of, it's almost droning.
It is droning.
It's almost a crooner in some ways.
Yeah, it's like if you took a normal song, like a Foo Fighters song, and put it half speed. Mm-hmm. That's about what he sings like.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's an interesting texture. It again was one of those things that made me go, I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
I have never heard somebody sing quite like that. So it was great.
Very distinct. All right, so you suggested There's Nothing Left to Lose by the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, I did.
Which obviously I know who the Foo Fighters are.
Yeah.
Like I've heard of them before. But I think I've only heard one song off this album.
Learn to Fly?
Learn to Fly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one's on it was on every movie in the late 90s, early 2000s.
You betcha.
Every commercial.
Yep.
It was on the radio nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
Good song.
Good song.
I didn't hold that against it. So
I think it's the weakest song on the record, to be honest.
Really?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe it's because the hit.
I almost felt like I didn't even like judge it because it's so familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just like, oh, it's just this song, and then my brain just shut off.
Yeah.
Because I've heard it so often. So my first listen to this album, I didn't love it. And I listened to it in my house, sitting at a table with my headphones in. And that's not the way to listen to this album, I don't think.
Oh.
Like, I was just like, I don't know. And I think it's because of everything that's come after it. It was because my initial reaction, like a gut reaction, was radio rock. This is radio rock. So, and it's not so much that I thought it was like bad, but it was like, it reminded me of everything that came after it in like the post-grunge.
Like post-grunge era.
Post-grunge
which is the
butt
worst.
rock. Yeah, like... And it's just like, oh. But this was before. I have to keep reminding myself, this is like before that. And, I mean, technically Foo Fighters is like a post-grunge band, but they're the best one, I think.
Right.
At least the best I've heard.
I agree.
And I was like coming into it because I was like, oh, this is the album that Goldsmith got kicked out and like re-recorded, right?
No.
No, it wasn't this one.
That was Color in the Shape, the album before.
Oh, okay.
This album was split half and half with Taylor Hawkins and Dave Grohl, actually.
Okay, so Hawkins was in on it.
He was, but he was so insecure playing drums that he just told Dave, like, you can just play on the records. I don't care. Like, I don't want to do it. And then Dave was like, no, man, you can do it. And then they split it half and half on this album.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was trying to listen to... I'm not a drummer. I don't know much about drums. I know... Like, the stuff I like that I listen to, and I listen to him and I'm like, oh, that's a good drummer, is like when it's obviously, like, technically... like very complex and interesting to me, which is why I like more metal and stuff like that.
Right.
It's like you listen to it and you're like, oh, that's real fast. Like,
yeah.
So it was the first time I listened to it, I was like, I'm not super impressed by the drums. Like I don't understand what the big deal is. And then I started talking to our friend Connor about it, who's also a music guy.
Yeah.
Connor was defending Foo Fighters to me. Which
Thank you, Connor.
Yeah. Which I even went into it. I was like, yeah, I liked the album, but like, what's the big deal? And then he was like, no, it's all about like the subtle like flourishes that happen throughout the drumming. And I went back and listened to it, and that's right. It is very, very precise.
Yeah. And
they're like little subtle things that are really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do understand that now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to come into this because I know Foo Fighters. I know Everlong. I've heard that. I played that on Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That song's great.
It's a good song.
I love that song.
It's like I said, like the radio rock sound doesn't fully appeal to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I've listened to this probably 3 or 4 times as well. So
wow.
Yeah. But I started listening to it only in the car when I was driving. That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, honestly, cruising around, it made it.
Yeah.
It made me enjoy it a lot more. I don't know why.
It's one of those records. I think, like you said, with headphones, it can be good, but I think because like, you just blast it in a car and it just sounds so good. Mm-hmm. That's how I like to listen to music anyways. Like, I only listen to the Pedro the Lion in my car.
Okay.
Like, I was just like, I'm just going to drive around and listen to this, and I loved it.
So I'm a lay in bed at night in the dark with my headphones in, listen to an album.
I'll have to try that. I'll have to give it a shot.
It's sensual.
Give it a whirl. So which song was your favorite on this album?
So I had a couple of thoughts on that. Stacked Actors is legit.
It's heavy, dude.
That's my favorite song.
The song goes hard.
That one, like, it started off, and I got real stoked. Like, I liked that from the second it started. Breakout, also probably one of the heavier songs on the album.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And Aurora, I enjoyed.
You betcha. That's the one on the last episode. I was like, my favorite Foo Fighters song of all time is on this, and it's Aurora.
I'm glad it wasn't Generator, because I didn't like Generator.
What?
Yeah.
I love that
I
song.
knew you were going to like that
one.
that
song is so good.
I don't like the talk box sound at the beginning of it. And then, like, I don't know. It seems like it should be a song with more energy to it, and I felt like it never peaked out.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I felt like the vocals never hit a level of energy that I wanted from it. And it finished, and I was just like, I feel incomplete. But yeah. Stacked Actors, I think I liked that the most because it had the most going on. Like, it was a very busy song. There's a lot of little, like, changes throughout it, too.
Yeah.
And I like really dynamic songs a lot of times, things that change from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Like,
that riff at the beginning is just the drums just fucking slam into it.
Yeah.
It's a great way to open a record.
For sure. But yeah, Aurora, it's just a nice song.
It's a beautiful song.
It's just beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, that was Taylor Hawkins' favorite song the Foo Fighters ever wrote.
Okay.
And that was the first song he ever recorded drumming that he was really proud of. So that's Taylor Hawkins drumming on that one.
That's him drumming. Very good.
But it's hard to tell on this record who drums on what because they haven't clarified it who drummed on what, but people have speculated. I know Dave Grohl for sure drums on Learn to Fly.
Okay.
But I think Taylor did a lot of the softer stuff. So I don't know if he did Next Year or not. Probably did. He definitely did MIA, Ain't It the Life. Both really good songs.
The only other song on this album I didn't love was Next Year.
It's very poppy.
It's very poppy.
Very poppy.
I was... Oh, Caitlin's going to be mad at me for this one. But I was listening to it, and I was like, oh, yeah, this would go great on an episode of Dawson's Creek. That's all I could think while I was listening to it. I was like, yeah, this is like... It seems like it was written to be popular at the time that the album came out. Like, it was written... It was like a... Not just like a... Not really a crowd pleaser, but like something that like TV studios could pick up and use sound clips from and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the music video, funny you say that, is like all like footage from, I think, like in space or something. Okay. It's real corny. It's really corny.
Nice.
The music videos for this album are all pretty funny. Some of them are good.
I don't watch a lot of music videos.
I love music videos. That was like my shit, was all those music videos. I watched Foo Fighters have great ones, and Chili Peppers were like always the ones I went towards.
I mean, I watched like stuff that was on like MTV and Fuse when I was a teenager.
Oh,
but that's like all I really remember.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
I don't know if Pedro the Lion even has music videos. That's a good.
You'd be surprised.
Google right now.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. But I love Gimme Stitches. That's a good one.
Gimme Stitches is good.
I like that song. Headwires is really good.
Headwires.
They didn't really... This tour they did after this was really cool because it's the only record they made as a 3-piece. So it's all Dave Grohl on guitar and mainly half Dave Grohl on drums. But yeah, the tour they went on for this record, they were touring with the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh.
Back in the...
You would
2000, 2001. That would have been sick. But yeah, I love this. This was one of like those Foo Fighters records that I really fell in love with when I was like 13, and I had the CD up there actually. And
this came out in 98,
99, I believe. So it came out when I was just 1 year old. Yeah, November 2nd, 1999.
Little baby.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like
little baby,
8, 7, something like that.
You're older than me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this album. It's one of my favorites Foo Fighters albums. Aurora, I think, is the best song. One of the best songs they've ever made.
That's definitely one I'm going to go back to and listen.
Yeah. Yeah, the drumming in that is really, really fucking good. And Stacked Actors is just such a... The riff on it, and then like the quiet part. And it's about like...
Yeah, I don't know what any of this album is.
So
I like intentionally didn't look up like how it was made or what the songs are about because I figured you would know that stuff.
I do. So Stacked Actors was made about like Dave Grohl. He just like went on this weird I don't binge sounds weird, but he was stuck in LA and he's seen like all these people's dreams dying in LA and like all these people going out there, and that's what we were saying. Stacked Actors was like stacked with bodies and people indulging in drugs and sex and all this like stuff, and he was like kind of talking about that, which I thought was that's like a really cool thing to talk about because you know he's experienced that either directly or indirectly, and I think that's a cool way to do it. And then Learn to Fly is about Dave Grohl overcoming his fear of flying, so he learned how an airplane works.
That's literally
that's
it. That's fucking. I mean,
Isn't that wild?
way to go turning that into a song, but that's fucking stupid.
And it like you think it's like, oh yeah, it's like you're letting go and you're learning how to be yourself. It's like, no, he's just scared of fucking airplanes. You know? That's it. But I mean, the other ones, I don't know a ton. I know Ain't It the Life is good. I think in the documentary Back and Forth, he talks about how that's like basically being grateful for the things he has and like, you know, that kind of thing. But some of the other ones, I'm not quite sure. I know Nate Mendel said this was the record Dave got more comfortable with his lyric writing and vocals and stuff. There's actually some footage of them recording this on YouTube, and it's funny because Dave Grohl's like doing vocals and then like smoking a pack of cigarettes while he's doing vocals. Yeah, and it's cool because they just barbecued the whole time they made this record. They were just like barbecuing and recording it in his basement in Virginia. And yeah, he had Adam Casper, again, great producer, engineer, do this one. And I think the drums sound good. Adam Casper is good at getting a good drum sound. Yeah. So,
definitely.
I like how it's recorded. I think it's mixed really well, too.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually hear Nate's bass on this record. Any other Foo Fighters record, good luck finding it.
Yeah, it seemed balanced to me. Like I didn't like think anything was getting drowned out or anything. Like mixed really well.
Yeah, and I think it was the last record they made on tape until they did Wasting Light. So that was in that era where they were like transition. First record they made digitally was One by One, which is the album after this.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, and I looked it up. Pedro the Lion has released music videos, but they were only since 3 years ago. Like they were for the newer stuff. So. And I have seen both of those, so I'm a liar.
Oh, caught in a lie.
Excellent. So, okay, you were going to tell me something before, unless we have more to talk about with this album.
No, you know what? It's kind of.
I guess I should probably rate it.
Well, you should rate it, and then I'll tell you what I'm doing.
Okay. I am going to give this. I'm going to give it a B+.
Oh, B+. I wasn't expecting that high.
You weren't expecting that? I mean, I liked the parts that I was into.
Right.
Like, I really liked them. It was really just those two songs, and I feel like they felt like filler songs almost for me.
Which is weird because they're like the most popular songs off this record. Breakout's pretty popular too.
Pretty popular.
But I think the songs around it are better. I love Generator. Can't believe it. I love that song.
Oh man, like I listened to it on the way over here, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll give it another chance. And it's just something about it just like kind of pisses me off. Like I hear that talk box, and I'm just like,
Peter Frampton, do you feel like we do?
Yeah, I mean, Frampton did it, and I don't know if anybody else really needs to do that.
Yeah, Frampton is the king of the talk box. Like,
he started it, he finished it. I don't know if we should go back.
We should just put him out of production. Stop doing it so we don't get copycats.
I don't think I've heard any other song with a talk box that I've been like, oh, that's good.
Yeah, everybody sees him and goes, There's a good video of them playing that in like 99 or 2000, and Dave Grohl has you have to like shove it in your mouth with the microphone like this. And he talks to me and says, God, I look fucking ridiculous in this. And then they go into Generator. But
so if you see him pulling out a tube at a show, you know what song's coming up.
She's like, oh. It's at Taylor Hawkins' reunion. He pulls out a tube. He's like, oh shit. Yeah. So the thing I was going to say, which is pertaining to this album somewhat. Okay. So I'm playing in a cover band right now, right? And that's been a new experience for me.
What are the ages of the other guys in the cover?
They're all in like their 50s. So it's a great time. I'm not going to lie. It's not like to learn that much music is really challenging, especially stuff you don't listen to. So you're learning Nothing But a Good Time by Poison, or you're learning Control by Puddle of Mud. So I'm playing some post-grunge.
Playing some butt rock.
I'm playing some butt rock and Bad Girlfriend, Theory of a Dead Man. But that song is so fun to play.
Is it?
Most of the songs are a joy.
But I would know the band.
Oh, dude. There's some absolutely corny shit on this. But I love it. Like, it's so fun to do stuff like that. But we're playing Learn to Fly, actually.
Oh, really?
That's one of the songs. So that is pertaining. We do 2 Foo Fighters songs, which is The Pretender and Learn to Fly.
All right.
Which for me, I'm like, yeah, that's great because it's Foo Fighters and it's whatever, but we're playing, Saliva and Stained. There's
Gosh, how many songs do you have to do for this?
I've had to learn even more because there's some that are like, oh, we'll take it out and we learn another one. So I probably learned like 36, 37 songs on drums.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So
That's
it's a totally different level of like musicianship. Like, playing in punk bands, you're like, okay, I go up there, I make some noise for 20 minutes and you get the fuck off the stage. Where this is like, no, you're playing for 2.5 hours, and you're also going in with people know these songs, so they have an expectation of how they're supposed to sound.
They know a better version of these songs.
Exactly. So you have a totally different level of, I guess, professionalism when you're like, I need to play these things and learn how to play different eras of music back to back to back. It's really, really, it's not easy, and
I bet not.
And it's really interesting because I was so anti-cover band for so long, but I think it was just an ego thing and like being pretentious about music in that way, where it's like, oh, I'm too good to be in a cover band, but fucking playing a cover band and tell me how hard that shit is. So hard. Like I have to practice all. Like I literally started exercising to play drums in this band because it's so taxing. That it's been a great learning curve though. But I figured out I confess.
Okay, the band's name. You didn't know the name for a long time.
Okay, so this was like one of those things when you know somebody and you don't know their name, but you see them all the time, and you're like it's too far in that you can't ask,
Yeah, that's
it was exactly
everybody
that.
I know.
Yeah. Shane barely knows my name.
Took me a while.
Yeah, it took until we filmed the last episode to get my name down. But I was like finally figuring it out, and they've like said this throughout rehearsal, and I realized like, oh, it was the band name, I guess. But the band name is, I figured this out like 3 days ago. It's Money Shot. Isn't that fucking great? I'm like, dude, we got to get shirts made. I have so many friends who are going to buy that.
Get matching tattoos.
Oh, matching tattoos. Because they kept being like we do some whatever, like they add little in-between shit or intros, and they'll be like, man, that's some Money Shot shit. And I was like, that's a weird phrase. Like, you're in your 50s. That's weird. Yeah. And then I figure out, no, the band name is actually just Money Shot. And I've been playing in a cover band called Money Shot. And I haven't played a gig yet, but I am a couple weeks from now. But they better get shirts made. If they don't have them made, I'm going to make them.
You're going to make Money Shot shirts?
I'm going to make Money Shot shirts.
What's going to be on them?
Oh, man. That's an interesting one.
Oh.
I got to figure that out. Got to hire a designer.
I think it should be suggestive, but not so far that people can't actually wear them.
They can't wear it into like a coffee shop or a school. You got to keep the in between. Because, dude, you would sell so many of those. Mm-hmm. People would be like, "Oh, that's fucking hilarious. We got to get a Money Shot shirt."
I would. I mean, yeah. If a shirt's funny enough, I'm gonna buy it. I don't care who the band is. Yeah.
And I feel weird about wearing my own band's T-shirts, but that's one I would wear because that's funny. And yeah, it's a great time though, because cover bands they're hard, man. Mm-hmm. They're hard. And playing drums that long, 2.5 hours, like, holy shit, man.
That's a long, long time.
Yeah.
I'm sure cover bands are difficult, but if you start playing the fucking Pina Colada song, if I hear a cover band playing that, I leave.
No.
I
hate that song too.
I hate that song, but I also definitely hate hearing cover bands play it for some reason. Like,
yeah, it's because like out of all songs you could pick, you
fucking
like went through the work to pick Pina Colada.
I've definitely left venues because that song has come on.
Yeah, that's understandable. Mm-hmm. That's a horrible song. See, I'm glad like this cover band is like all rock music, even if it's butt rock. Like, I'm not gonna lie though, like Control by Puddle of Mud is so fun to play.
Is it as good as Control by Pedro the Lion?
No. No, it's definitely not. I mean, when you hear the fucking singer's vocals, did you ever see that video of him doing About a Girl?
No.
Oh, dude, they had to take it down. I can't remember what. It was a radio station did an acoustic session, and Puddle of Mud did About a Girl by Nirvana, and it got annihilated because his vocals are so gnarly, bad, and they had to take it down. I think somebody re-uploaded it.
I'm sure it's somewhere on the internet, but... Do you remember the episode of Metalocalypse where they all like joined cover bands of their band?
That's funny. I've never seen that.
Oh, it's great. That's a good show. Have you watched Metalocalypse?
I haven't watched it.
Legit. Like, they got death metal like exactly on that show.
I'll have to watch that.
Yeah. It's very good. Very good.
I'm gonna look up this About a Girl Puddle of Mud thing because I want you to hear it.
Yeah, I'd like to hear this.
Oh yeah.
So we'll post the link in the description if you want to follow along with us.
Okay, here it is. Oh man.
Oh, is that a bongo?
They got like little bongos.
Oh.
Well, the vocals are the bongos are the Weastier worries.
Oh. Gosh.
This is real. Like he went into this being like, yeah, that sounds good.
Sound good. That sounds like a cartoon doing a over the top impression of like Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if you listen to like the good Puddle of Mud songs, his vocals are like that, and it cracks me up, dude.
Oh man.
But the songs are good, man.
Is the first picture that comes up when you Google Puddle of Mud the mugshot? Like I go to jail.
Hold on.
They're from Kansas City?
They are. I knew that for some reason. Is that a mugshot?
I don't know.
Oh, it's a video thumbnail. The sad history of Puddle of Mud. Somebody went through the work to make that.
All of it.
They went to their business meeting at the Rockfeed channel like, all right, we're going to draw out of a hat. Somebody's going to get sad history of Puddle of Mud and have to report on it.
Oh, they have lip syncing controversies.
Yeah, did you just hear those vocals on that?
Yeah, they have to. There's also a connection with Fred Durst. I'm going to have to read this Wikipedia page later.
We should do a butt rock episode.
A butt rock episode where we both listen to the same record and then just shit on it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
How much, like... I don't consider myself a music critic. What's going to happen on the show when we just absolutely hate a record? Are we just going to rip into it?
I don't know. I feel like I'm too much of a person that's like, well, I try to find the good things in the record, you know?
Okay.
Like, I feel like if I didn't have that mentality, I wouldn't be playing in a cover band, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I think Bad Girlfriend by Theory of a Dead Man is objectively kind of a horrible song. But it's fun as fuck to play. Here, I'll show you what it is, Chayne.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not very well versed in. Oh, I've heard this before. Yeah.
Dude, and this China right here.
Oh. And if you're watching the video that goes along with this, you can see Wakinyan's excellent air drumming. Ooh. I hope you're watching the video because this is just awkward silence. It's just a plug for our future YouTube channel that we don't have set up yet. I don't like that. That was bad.
Dude, it's so good. I'm sorry for the people that go silence. I was air drumming because that song kind of rips, dude. I don't know. It's interesting, like having to set down like my personal music taste for something to do something else justice. A lot of it is like learning a lot and seeing how those songs are even made. Like even learning how objectively bad songs are to you as a person, as your opinion. Mm-hmm. Learning how those songs work is really, really interesting too. I think like getting out of that, like you can get so like straight lined into your own musical preferences that it's good to just totally flip it upside down and do some corny shit. And it's fun. Like I have a good time and I play the shit out of this corny stuff and I don't listen to this stuff at all. Like I only listen to it. Some of the songs I've appreciated a lot more, like Detroit Rock City and Shout It Out Loud. Okay. Those songs are great. Those are great, just great songs. Mississippi Queen rips. That's a good song.
Yeah, that's not as bad as the other ones. I
no, there's.
I mean, it's overused and overplayed. Right. I'll agree with that, but it's like I've never been like angry at that song.
Right. Yeah. That song grooves. That song grooves really good. But yeah, there's stuff and it varies on like how much I dig it. One of my favorites is "Ain't Talking About Love" by Van Halen. That's one of my favorite songs to play.
Van Halen.
Yeah, we should do a Van Halen episode.
We could.
I don't listen. I have Van Halen 1 on vinyl down there actually.
Oh, really?
Original pressing.
Yeah, my dad liked Van Halen, and I know it through that, and that's about it. I know Panama. I know Hot for Teacher.
It's got that crazy drum thing.
Yeah. Well, do we want to talk about what we're doing next episode?
That's right.
So,
Next episode.
We had a few different ideas for this. Did we decide on one of those? I don't remember.
We were gonna OutSad each other.
OutSad each
That's
other.
That's what the
Okay.
consensus was.
Yes.
And my sad record, which is even, you know what I'm gonna do
Okay.
for this the next episode. I'm gonna listen to both.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna like re-listen to.
Oh, I've been doing that.
See, I haven't.
Sure. Oh, yeah. I listened to Control about 2 times.
Yeah,
This past week,
I
so.
know. First of all, the last 2 records I recommend I know very well.
Oh, okay.
But It's a Wonderful Life. I didn't listen to Record Only Water 10 Days. That one's like weird for me. But It's a Wonderful Life's a weird one. But I need to face my fears. So I'm gonna listen to that, and then I'm gonna listen. You were gonna recommend me A Crow Looked at Me by Mount Erie.
Yes, Crow Looked at Me. So yours was, I'm sorry, what was the name of that one again?
It's a Wonderful Life by Sparkle Horse.
Sparkle. I've never even heard of Sparkle Horse before. So.
Oh man, that's gonna be. That shit hits.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you too much about Crow Looked at Me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you too much about It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, it's yeah, A Crow Looked at Me is like
It's,
just the first line in the song is it'll wreck you. Like
That one might have to be a headphone lay down in the bed in the dark kind of thing.
It probably will. And I've got a little I found it was like a short documentary that he made, Phil Elverum, I think I'm saying his name right, put out this year. It's kind of showing where he's at now and stuff. So it's interesting.
Okay.
So after you listen to it, let me know, and I'll send you the link to that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do the whole kit and
The
caboodle.
whole thing. So yeah, look up A Crow Looked at Me by Mount Erie, and It's a Wonderful Life by Sparkle Horse, if you'd like to follow along at home.
If you want to get real fucking sad,
Yeah.
listen to both these.
Let's see if we make it through this.
Yeah, we'll
week.
see. Episode 3 never airs.
Never airs. We're too sad.
Yeah, we're too sad.
Excellent.
But if you need to call a mental health crisis hotline, didn't they make it like a 411 or something like that?
I think they did, but I didn't pay attention to it, so I don't know.
I think the mental health crisis line is 411, 511. Because it was like some crazy number, and it's like, dude, when I'm depressed and in a bad spot, I'm not looking to dial in a bunch of numbers.
988 is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
That's right. 988. We're going to have to put a fucking disclaimer on the next one.
I mean, I guess we should put it on this one, because if people are going to listen to these albums.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I know we've all been in dark places, you know?
For sure. And the one I suggested, I do think it has kind of ends up being kind of like a positive outlook, sort of, as much as there can be. So,
yeah. Could be somewhat uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's definitely certain songs on the same way. I feel that. I'm okay. That'll be an interesting one.
There's a song called Little Fat Baby on this album.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And Babies on the Sun. These guys like babies.
Too bad. Are you gonna look into his backstory?
No.
It has nothing to do with babies. I can just talk about his backstory in the next episode. Then.
Okay, yeah. Tell me the backstory. I think that's a good way to do it, because then it has both of us interacting on each album. Like the one I'm more familiar with, I'll maybe like do a little brushing up on it.
Yeah.
And likewise. So then.
Cool.
So it's not just one of us talking at the other one about how we hate each other's music. Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
I can't wait till we get to the episode and we're just like, I fucking hate everything about this.
I'm
like,
surprised that we haven't already. To be honest, I know it's episode 2, but I ended up loving this album. So
I've got some things up my sleeve. Some albums that I was like, okay, this is one that's like very important to me and means something to me, and he's not going to see it coming at all. So I do have a few ideas for maybe unthemed episodes, just throwing it out there. But yeah, more to come.
There is more to come.
But yeah, well, thanks for listening to the show and watching the show.
Yeah.
There's going to be more stuff coming.
There is. We're going to keep uploading. We're going to shoot for once a week.
Yep, trying to do weekly here. So
weekly and get some videos out.
Yep.
And, if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe that stuff, or check us out our YouTube channel if you're listening.
Leave us reviews on whatever platform you're on.
Yeah.
Hopefully good ones. And follow us. I think we have Earswap Pod
on Instagram.
on Instagram,
Yeah.
and there might be more social media coming. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll just stick with Instagram for a second and see how that
Instagram
goes.
is like easiest for
It's a good one.
30-year-old me.
Yeah, it's
So-
easiest for me. I'm basically 30.
We're gonna make a TikTok.
Ugh.
No, we're not.
No.
Maybe. I mean, if we have to.
I will
probably
hire.
won't
I
post
will
things
pay
on it,
money
but-
out of my own personal pocket to not touch that app. I'll be like,
Okay.
all right, somebody else can have it, and just post clips or whatever. I don't know. TikTok stresses me out.
Yeah, I don't. I just don't understand it.
Neither do I. It's too addictive. Too
Mhm.
addictive and neurotic.
Yeah, I doom scroll enough. I don't need to.
Yeah.
add anything to that.
Yeah, I can't
So.
be doing that.
Well, anyway, we'll let you guys go.
Yeah.
Because we could just sit here and talk about old man stuff like this.
Yeah,
all
dude,
night,
my bad.
so.
Well, I did get pasta sauce on my shirt
I
tonight.
can't even see it.
That's impressive because I thought it was substantial, and they probably can't even see it in the camera.
I've just got cat hair all over my shirt.
But I
'cause-
can't even see it.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Maybe we're just blind. Oh, well.
That's why
Okay,
we got
on
glasses.
that note, at least we can hear, because this podcast wouldn't happen without that.
that's right.
So, for now, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye. We can,
I'm going to just
however you want it.
move this a little bit so that it's in my mouth.
Let me scoot up. No, if you're raw dogging it with it, that's fine.
Episode motherfucking 2.
Okay, so let's just go into it. We'll go into episode 2.
Yeah, let's just start talking and see what happens.
Okay. I guess that's the point of this.
Yeah.